All right, guys, it's Mongolian Mindset, and today we are typing, is it Nelson?
Yep.
Nelson. We're typing Nelson. We're going to help him find his personality type. Um, you don't have to go into any drama, or, I mean, not drama, tragic.
Trauma.
Fuck, thanks, Thomas. I don't know where my brain's at right now. You have to go into any trauma, anything like that. But just respond to the questions and we'll figure out your personality type based off what you say. We'll triangulate down. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Nelson Duenas. Yeah. Uh, I do martial arts. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How'd you get into martial arts?
Uh, I uh, always been what's it called? Always been doing it when I was a kid, and then throughout my high school years, I used to wrestle, and then once I joined the Marines, I spent like 2 years just kind of doing nothing, and then once I was stationed at Pennsylvania, I had I found a gym called Martial Arts Flipper Hershey, and it was the best gym that I've ever been to. It's, high like that's where I actually like ended up loving mixed martial arts and fighting and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's crazy. I was a wrestler in high school too, man. What's your favorite takedown?
Favorite takedown? Uh,
Are you a
I'm
double
part.
leg guy or a single leg guy?
I'm partial to sweeps.
Huh?
Um, Foot sweeps.
What
That's
sweets? You like that?
yeah. If you get into the right position, basically you can just foot sweep a guy, and it's basically like you just did nothing. It's like the purest form of martial arts. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of skill to master, but once you get it and like you're hitting it on like guys who've been wrestling for a while, it's like there's no other feeling like it.
Yeah, shit. Man, I used to love the single leg, man. God, just always I can always get a single leg. I don't give a shit. Like I take that shot, I always get a single leg. I feel like it was always better than going for the double leg. It's like, why would I shoot for a double when I know I can get one leg? I know for a fact I'm gonna get one. Um, so I used to always go after that one leg, always. First thing first. Sometimes go for the ankle pick, but most of the time I go for the single. Um, so um, so you've always been in martial arts to some degree. What do
Yeah.
you do for like are you what do you do for a living now?
Uh, right now I'm in the Marine Corps. E5 combat camera. Um, yeah, it's a job,
Yeah. What attracted you to the Marines?
Uh, I guess it was always, it was always a thing. Honestly, I had no no clue what to do after high school, so it seemed like it seemed like the thing to do. And I've heard Marine. Well, in my mind, when I joined the Marine Corps, I thought it was going to be like kind of like special forces training, and it was kind of like I was kind of like in this. I didn't actually did a lot of research into joining the Marine Corps. I just kind of did it because it seemed like I got nothing else going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's interesting, man. You seem like a pretty smart guy, man. It's interesting.
Uh, Really not.
It's really not. You're being humble. But like a lot of people go into Air Force and shit,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that would have been the smart move. Um,
Yeah.
it,
If you're gonna suffer, you might as well suffer like with the best treatment, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, what do you see yourself
Why?
in the
Why?
next? Oh, go,
I
Tom.
was just. Why would the Air Force be? Why would that be smarter? Because it's easier.
Well, they get better
That's one.
treatment.
Um, it's probably a different culture too. Um,
Yeah.
I would say in some aspects they probably care more about job quality than about the the uh, the other stuff. Like let's say the Marine Corps is more is more lenient towards discipline and structure. I
Mhm.
feel like, let's say, certain mission aspects. Um, seen from like, well, this is from like from other branches in the military. They're probably more like, from what I've seen, they're more interested in like in mission accomplishment rather than like their own orders and structures. So it's like
Mhm.
the Marine Corps is more regimented than the other branches.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
How do you do with authority, man?
I never really liked authority. Uh, uh, um, One of the reasons why I liked martial arts club or Hershey was because of Dave. Dave was actually um, when I first got to the gym. Like I was seeking out different gyms, and I went to one of the boxing gyms in Harrisburg, and it was very regimented, very like it was very militaristic, and I did not like that. It was deeply impersonal. Um, when I went to martial arts club at Hershey, uh, I found like a smaller gym, and I found and I got a chance to spar with Dave and Luke and a bunch of other guys, and opposed to what the other gym was doing, which just pads, and you're basically going to be hitting pads and speed work and do footwork for like 3 months before you even get to spar anybody. Um, but like immediately when I went to that gym, I could like they were like, oh yeah, spar all the instructors and everyone here, and I couldn't land a single punch on Dave or any of the instructors, and I was like, this what they're doing is legit. Um, and more time of me spending there, I found out that like the philosophy that Dave embodied was that of like this fierce individuality, So it's from that point on, I was like always in love with that gym.
Wow,
How
that's
do you how do you go about learning new things?
Um, well, I typically like think of the think of the problem for an extended period of time. Like let's say it's like I was currently injured by a move called Kani Basami. It's a flying scissor heel hook, and like it took me out for about a year. Um, Basically, it's like if the guy just jumps in the legs, bends your knee, and your body weight comes over here, and this is your ACL. The ACL comes over here. So it's a move that I was familiar with, but I didn't know too much. And so, like for me, I've just been like if I'm trying to solve a problem, I'm always constantly like researching and then thinking about it in my own time. So like I go swimming and I think about the solution and I meditate for long periods of time on like where the weight should be transferred, how to avoid it, how to keep the hips away. Um, it's still something that's ongoing for me. I've been researching it for the past year. I still haven't found a concrete like solution to counter that problem.
hmm. Okay. What do you think is something that separates you from other people? Like, what's something you think you do very well and other people do very poorly that separates you from everybody else?
Uh, I would say ab I would say abstract thinking. Um,
Could you?
uh, like being being able to like or like one thing I find I wouldn't say it's better. I would say it's different. Um, I basically I basically know I'm basically interested and I do things that lean towards more abstract and creative thinking. Like let me see if I can think of an example. Like I'm interested uh in like geopolitics and like how things are governed. you know, my mind doesn't really like go towards one thing aside from martial arts, because that's the one thing I'm like I made a priority to be constantly interested in that. But the other things I'm interested in like how do I say? History, concepts, stories, mythology, you know, that sort of thing. That's I guess I have an interest in that, and I put time and effort to research it. So I think that's one thing I do differently from everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Like, so, what is something you've been besides martial arts that you've been interested in that you would put in that spectrum?
I would say mythology and religion. Um, I'm deeply interested in people's stories and stories of history, and stories of people throughout. I don't want to bring up the Bible, but uh, the story of the Jewish people is so interesting to me because it's not only a story of like them of like individuals or of individual stories. It's a story about an entire people. So for me, I like researching into that sort of thing, to that sort of thing, subject.
Hmm. Interesting. Um, hmm. If you could have any job in the world, what would you have and why?
Uh, that's an easy one. I would own my own martial arts gym, and that's because uh, I want to uh, I want to be able to provide a place where people can train freely. So I want a martial arts gym that basically, you know, transforms people into something stronger than what they were when they first came.
Hmm. So, martial arts gym, you're all about that.
Yeah.
What appealed you to martial arts? Like, what brought you to martial arts? Like, what about it, like, do you think pulls you towards it?
Okay. The simple answer is violence. I just love violence. I I've always loved, you know, loved fighting and loved you know uh, loved beating people up. I just loved it.
I love beating people up. Is that what kind of led you to the Marines?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought there was going to be some more martial arts towards that, but
Mhm.
honestly, I thought it was just going to be a paycheck.
Okay.
But I wasn't. I guess I was. I just wanted something to get away from my home, and I didn't really care. Uh, but it was a good decision on my part because I do feel like it made me a better person.
Okay. What do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Next 2 years, probably just finishing out my contract, doing some things um, with going back into civilian life, and then going to martial arts for Hershey to help them build up the gym.
Mhm.
What causes you to feel stressed out?
Everything, just everything. Um, I guess it depends. What causes me to be stressed out? Um, in what context? In any context?
Yeah. Yeah, just overall.
Okay. Well, if it's martial arts related, nothing really. I guess like a massive injury. Um, that that scares me. That's gonna put me out for a long time. Um, I'm not really concerned financially. You know, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna land on my feet. Um, yeah.
Hmm.
I don't, I don't know. I feel like I don't do well with deadlines. That's the thing. Like long-term projects uh, that someone asked me to do, I never make it. So I guess that's just,
Yeah.
How do you handle chaos in your life?
oh yeah, that's not an issue.
What do you mean? How do you handle it?
How do I handle it?
Yeah.
Oh, uh, just prioritize what's important, and then just don't freak out. That's pretty much it.
Don't freak
Uh,
out. Are you a
yeah,
person who thrives in chaos?
yeah,
Like,
I actually
fucking thrive.
spend a lot of time on that problem. Because chaos, at least for like, at least for that flight or fight response, because I actually did have a problem with it in my early 20s. And the way I was able to solve it is because I love to swim. I practically was like swimming every day, and I figured out, and like I basically spent a lot of time. Like I didn't know I was doing this, but I was actually meditating while I was swimming. I usually do these underwaters, and when I do the underwaters, I can like see the I basically stopped thinking about everything because that's the problem I've also had like in my early 20s. I was just like constantly like uh, my 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 perception was constantly moving to different subjects in my past, and like I could not like concentrate on anything. So by swimming constantly, I was doing like this inadvertent like meditation, and only like recently have I discovered, oh, that's why I was doing, and that's why it was helping me out so much. And so like now I can like probably do like 50s underwaters without swimming pretty easily. And the reason I'm able to get to that is because it's just I've been obsessed for that for like the past few years. Um, and so like that kind of tempered for that kind of tempered me in my stress response. Uh, I'm asking out because now I'm not really stressed out by anything. I've been training like for the past few years to deal with it. So
Mm-hmm.
no
Well,
problem.
do you have a family?
Yeah, they're in Texas right
Oh,
now.
they're in Texas. Okay. So you're married.
No, not married. Just like I thought you meant like oh family, like a mother, like a mom and dad.
Oh, no, not like married. Do you have your own family? No.
No, I'm single, living in the burbs.
Okay. What do you think about I'm just gonna draw Andrew Tate. What do you think about him? Give me your thoughts.
And
Andrew Tate?
oh, Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
the who's it called? The kickboxer who has his podcast.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What do you
I
think
think
about him?
I think he's kind of crass. It's like really
Mm.
he's kind of I don't know. It's kind of obviously kind of a scummy guy. Um, uh, he he seems he seems to like he seems to like he's trying to appeal to this like masculine edge in people, but like it I don't know. It doesn't seem very sophisticated. It just seems like it just seems like he's trying to pander to the audience.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say that. Um, a lot of people. I mean, they've said there's been like a couple fighters come out and say that they don't think he's a good fighter. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts on this since you're a fighter?
yeah, I've seen some of his fights. He's like I heard him talk about fighting. He said that he doesn't like the closed guard or the Dutch guard because Like you can't block or you can't block or defend. I was watching some of his fights and I'm like, that's exactly what you need because you're getting taken apart here. Your guard's way too extended.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's I don't know. I think he might have I don't know. I don't know about his record. Might be like anybody can have a big record if if they're fighting like bums or whatever.
That was my thoughts too. I really thought that he isn't fighting top level competition back then. Like like the UFC is very top level people. He's not fighting people like that. Um, that's what I think. I think it was a K1 or something. That's a very like weird whole like weird division type thing. I mean, I've seen like a whole bunch of like UFC fighters talk about like his movement here and the movement there and the footwork here and his technique. It's pretty
Go
bad.
away.
But yeah, man, you seem like a very technical person, man. What's your advice to anybody that's trying to get into martial arts?
Um, find a good gym. Basically look. Well, it depends on their situation. If they're like most people and they're just like not interested in like not like super rich or whatever. I would say find a gym that doesn't really care about money and that cares about the actual the actual art, cares about what works, and they don't care about their own ego. So if they're willing to spar with you and they're not gonna like hit you hard and actually like tap touch you and like you know basically show you actual martial arts, that's the one that I would say go to. Yeah, I think that's the big one. Just find a good martial arts gym.
Yeah, okay. What's a skill you think everybody should learn? Don't say fucking martial arts.
Um, yeah, I have to say martial arts.
Outside of martial arts. Outside of martial arts.
Outside of martial arts,
Yeah.
a skill.
Mhm.
Uh,
Some people could say carpentry. Some people could say,
um,
diplomacy.
I would say, I would say, disciplined thought, philosophy, um, being able to to analytically solve through a problem. I think that's one of the most. I think that's a skill I think everybody should know. Um, that's what you would go to school for. It's to discipline how you think and how you're able to articulate yourself. Because if you're inarticulate, you're not going to be able to solve any problem. If you're able to talk and write, then you're able to do whatever you want in life, really. So
Okay, so basically what you're saying is you want people to be able to critically think.
yeah, critical thinking,
Critical thinking. Yeah, yeah. Um,
critical and well, it's adaptive reasoning. If you're going to do something and you do it like let's say I'm gonna bring it back to martial arts, but if you're just told to like do uh 1,000 shrimps and you do them,
mhm.
but you don't consider like the how that's gonna make you a better fighter, then that's not the disciplined thinking that you should have. That's not gonna make you a world champ. You have to adaptively think of a solution for your problems. Like it's
Mm.
it's about being able to see, being able to work through a problem, even if it's like, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, it's able to it's the ability to solve through your problems and take away what's good and leave what's bad. So not just, doing the same thing every day, but actually adapting whatever it is that you're doing to to obtain or complete the mission.
Okay. Yeah, sounds very logical. What's 3 words your friends would say about you?
That's a tough one. Uh, guess I guess quiet's a big one. Quiet, reserved, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just quiet and reserved. I think those are the big ones that like everyone would say about me.
Quiet, reserved.
Yeah.
You got one more. 3.
I'll say again.
You got 3, not 2. 2.
Oh.
Quiet, reserved.
Let me think. I think what would they say? Oh yeah, I got really dark humor. I think, yeah, I think that's what they would say. Really fucked up sense of humor.
Yeah. What do you think about routine schedules? Like, how do you feel about eating the same thing every day? Like, well,
Oh, I do that all the time.
yeah.
I think it's great. I definitely like routine. I'm definitely not good at it though.
Not good at it.
Not very good at keeping a routine, but I do like keeping it because it is good for your mental health, sleep, and everything.
Is it because you don't like chaos? Like, kind of like with a routine you get less chaos.
It's not that I don't really mind chaos. Um, oh yeah, that's another thing people would say about me. I'm pretty messy. Uh, yeah, no. What's the word? Yeah, I don't really mind chaotic situations. It's just I don't. It's just yeah. I just prefer to have a schedule.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, if you were to go to jail for anything, what do you think it would be hypothetically? Just hypothetical situation.
Hypothetical. That's probably assault.
Back to martial arts, huh?
I figured that something like that was coming.
Probably assault for something. I definitely wouldn't start anything, but it would definitely be something martial arts related somehow. Um, or yeah, it's pretty much what I would think I would go for. That or framed for murder.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. Hmm.
What's the most important thing to you besides friends and family? Phil didn't ask that, right?
In martial arts.
And martial arts.
Okay. What's friends? More important than friends, family, and martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
No, just what's the most important things to you aside from family and friends and martial arts?
Okay. Aside from those things,
Yeah, exactly.
um, yeah, I would say wisdom and either wisdom or a or ties to your culture. I think one of those two. Um, because I do think, like, you know, if you have a good, if you're around a good culture, like, you know, like, just using that as an example, but like, if you have a good Muslim, like, Muslim culture you're around, like, not pathological, but yeah, like all the ones in the Middle East, but like actually like good, you know, uh, religious community you're part of. I think that's one of the more important things you should have in your life. Depends. It could be, it could be you know, a non-pathological religion. Make that clear. I guess actually, you know what, it would be truth. I'm gonna go back on that. Yeah, I want to say truth.
Um, hmm. What's something you're working on this year, personally?
Personally,
Yeah.
getting back. I think the most important thing I'm working on is getting my ACL back to where it was. Just recuperating from that injury, and getting my fight to where it was at before that. I really do want to really, before I get too old, I do want to do some professional fights.
How'd you mess up your ACL?
It's kind of Busami, the flying scissor sweep.
Oh,
Basically,
martial arts.
yeah.
No,
Tore your ACL. Oh shit, dude. Oof. How bad was the pain? 1 to 10.
It wasn't really about the pain. It was just that kind of feel. I didn't really care about the pain at the time. It was more about like I know this is gonna be a ordeal of an injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thomas, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're pretty certain about this. So
Yeah. What about you, Shelly?
Same. I think
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can call it.
Yeah, man. So we're going to go ahead and go with it. So what we notice is that you are direct, man. So that means you're specific, concise, and to the point. You're not beating around the bush. It's very easy to understand what you're saying. Direct people generally can enjoy telling people what to do. Instead of like informing people, like to give people a lot of information and then allow them to choose. Kind of a motivation type behavior behind informative. So you're direct. So that eliminates 8 types that you cannot be. Can't be one of the informative types if you're direct. Okay. You are a TI user. So what TI means is you have a logical framework that you use and you apply to everything. That's why you said adaptive learning. And you said that's a skill that everybody should learn. So adaptive learning. That's something you have. That's gonna be either your first or your hero spot or your parent spot. So with that being said, being a TI user, being direct, you also are an SE user, SENI. You know how to you know what you want, okay? You know what you're going for. You pretty much talked about that, like I want this. You know where you're headed, like martial arts your thing, you know. You want to open up a gym, like that's your whole like thing, like you're all about that. That's your vision. So that makes you a direct TI user who's SENI. That's gonna be ESTP or ISTP. We noticed that you're more outcome focused, so you're looking at the end product. It's all about the end product for you and not the journey of things. So we got you as an ESTP. What did you have for yourself?
It's INFP.
INF what?
Yeah, yeah,
No.
and I hit them all.
INFP.
I hit
INFP.
I hit all INFP.
Huh?
I hit like all of the every single one of those things, like nearly 100% for I, for N, for F, for P.
Really? Whoa. Thomas, you want to take that apart there? INFP for?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of like, before Assad even told me about it, I was kind of like wondering what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I looked up, okay, what's Louis C.K.'s thing? And I was like, INFP. Wherever Louis C.K. is, I know that's what I am. And so I didn't know exactly what the words were, but like I was like, I've done this test like I think four or five times, and gives me around the same results every time. Like probably a 10. I think the biggest difference was like 20%. Actually, probably 30%. But yeah, always consistently INFP.
I don't think I've met a
introvert.
INFP.
I even took the Big Five, and I hit introversion like 100% on that. Like the most introvert you could be, I hit the introversion pretty hard. The typically I go for abstract thinking. I was for intuitive thinking, and then compassionate. Yeah, mainly because, and then to me that the F actually makes sense, because I actually do. For me, martial arts is all about like helping people, and that's a big reason why I do it. Like I found out through doing my job in the military that my whole thing was about doing things for like if I wasn't interacting with people, I was very depressed. I found out that like it wasn't like the camera operations that fascinated me. It was about the interactions with the people, the interviews I was doing. That's what actually drew me towards doing that. So the F really makes sense for me, and like I generally lean towards that compassionate side. That's been a problem for me that I've been dealing with like all my life, trying to like make sure I don't veer too much into that compassion side, because obviously compassion, there's a sort of pathologies that you can face, and then P obviously is super super lazy, low in conscientiousness. Definitely.
Yes. So when you're talking about helping people, that's generally an FE thing, and not an FI thing. The general thing of like helping people, like centering around that's a TIFE thing. So that would make you a TIFE user. INFPs are TEFI users. Okay. And like when you said the martial arts, the whole thing about martial arts, you got an outcome in mind, which is helping people. And that's the FE response. Like you want to help people. You're talking about your empathy. Your ESTPs are very empathetic people. Like they understand what other people are going through. They understand what other people feel. They pick up on that. It's their third function. So it's actually a relief function for them. It's like they always want to help people. If they see something, they'll go and help someone. So that would be more in line with TIFE than TIFE than FI and TE. Okay. If you're a FI person, you would be talking about different things. I don't think I've seen, and I don't want to stereotype anything, but I don't think I've seen an INFP fighter. I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you. I don't think I've seen one. Thomas, what do you think about that?
Well, not only that, like remember when we asked him the question about what he values, and like it took him like a minute to answer the question, like you almost like you don't have a good grasp of what you value, and you had to think about it, like and like you came up with one answer, and then like, okay, actually I think you changed it to truth, but
the value and truth would be attached to TI as well. It's another TI thing. And even the adaptive learning, that's also like TI. Like your biggest thing was when we asked you what was a skill you think everybody should know, and you're basically saying adaptive learning. And then I was like, summed it up to you like critical thinking. Okay, like yeah, and you're like yeah, but adaptive learning. That's more of a SENTI thing because you're adapting on the fly. You're adapting on the fly, which is very heavily you need that in martial arts to a degree, But yeah, the thing about ESTPs is they can come off very introverted. Like a lot of we like seem to have this problem in our group now that like with the ESTPs, they always like, I'm ISTP, or like they'll say something else. They seem to have the worst problem with type. I swear to God, I don't know what it is with ESTPs, but they seem to have the hardest time with like type acceptance. I don't know what it is. But yeah, man, INFP martial artist, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna say another thing. You sound like Dwayne Johnson. Like if I like literally put Dwayne Johnson and you aside each other, it sounds like the same voice is talking. Like I was like, when you were talking, I'm like, this sounds like fucking Dwayne Johnson is talking right now.
I do like The Rock. Well, actually, Ray Mysterio is my favorite. I actually looked it up. He's also an INFP.
No, he's ESTP. He's ESTP.
Wait, Rey Mysterio's ESTP?
Oh, Rey Mysterio. I thought you said Dwayne Johnson.
No, yeah, Dwayne Johnson's ESTP. Rey Mysterio's the INFP.
I doubt that.
I doubt that too. I'd have to look him up.
But INFPs are not athletic like that. Like INFP doing double backflips off the top rope, fucking, doing fucking flips on people like that. I don't know what his type is. That's actually somebody who I'd like to look into now that you bring it up. But I'm pretty much willing to bet anything I own that he's not an INFP. I'm willing to bet both of my kidneys.
Okay, I think there's two more INFPs in the UFC, Uriah Hall and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
I'd be willing to bet they're not INFP, man.
All right, well.
All right, so the one thing about INFPs is they have SE Trickster. So like they almost have zero like when it comes to being able to adapt to the environment or anything, they almost have zero, like it's almost zero, like the worst spot it can be in, that's what they have it at. So you want these people that basically have like no concept of actually being in reality, and you want them to fight. Most likely it ain't gonna go well, man.
They don't have any tactical awareness, and fighting or like a lot of sports like require very high tactical awareness.
Very technical, like if this then that, I'm not gonna work. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, if my life depended on it, I wouldn't want an INFP there to protect me unless it's fucking like John Wick, unless it's Keanu Reeves with a fucking machine gun,
That's the only time.
Keanu Reeves is an INFP.
Yeah, he's an INFP. Keanu Reeves is.
Yeah, he's but he is an actor. I mean, I have to say I did see some of his training for John Wick, and it is pretty impressive. But he does. I believe he does practice with real guns. Don't know that he practices well. Actually, I think he does use real bullets. But at the end of the day, though, it's acting, and like he's done a shitload of fucking training to like be able to act in that movie.
And that's like one INFP. I probably could find a million ESTPs, ISTPs that could easily do that shit. Because it's just more of their thing, tactical awareness is their thing. That's why you'll see a lot of them that play basketball. Need high SE. Need very high SE.
And just like on a side note, like INFPs are, they're usually kind of on the feminine side, or like, you think of somebody like Keanu Reeves or like Jared Leto, Michael Jackson. They're usually kind of feminine men. ESTP men are like, they're some of like the most masculine men. Like I've never met an ESTP man that I would say like, oh, that guy's feminine. Like usually they're kind of like you, like even if I didn't know all the martial arts shit, I'm like, this dude, like I'm not fucking with this dude, this dude seems pretty tough, INFPs, they're soft, like they're soft, they're squishy,
Like you got this. The thing about ESTPs is they have like this strong outward appearance, but they actually
Yeah.
like, care about people under like they actually care about helping people. They want to build people up. That's one of their focuses. They want to build people up. They want to like instill like good values and things like that into people and like help them grow as a person. Like that's their mission. Like, you know, with you, when you said you want to do like a martial arts thing where it wasn't even about
Yeah.
me or anything like that,
Hmm.
that's because you want to build people up. INFPs are more of like, um, hmm, hard to say.
Like healers,
Yeah,
like
counselors.
yeah, counselors, exactly. ESTPs is more like I'm going to make you stronger. I'm going to build character into you. You know, like through martial arts might be a perfect example of that.
Like Joe Rogan is
INFP.
always, Joe Rogan's always talking about martial arts, ESTP.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, everything that guy talks about is like martial arts. Like, old man, give it up, bro. Like 60, you know. Like, give it up, bro. But hey, man, that's his thing. He said martial arts saved his life, so I bet I can probably get the same thing from you. How much you love martial arts.
I don't think anyone has ever called me an extrovert. Um, it, so, so
Well, you just did say that, like, you noticed, like, you started getting depressed when you wasn't interacting with people.
Yeah.
That's an extroverted thing, bro.
Yeah.
that's
You just don't
it,
notice it.
depressed in the sense that it wasn't so it has to do with, well, it is kind of true, like the interaction with people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, so here's the big thing. I've always had like going through like the INFP, like I read all through the MTIB. I read them all,
Mm-hmm.
and like none of them really connected with me except the INFP ones, because like that basically laid out everything. All my problems are like exactly those in the INFP. Like it, the what was it called? I forget what was one of the words that they used there. Self-isolating. There we go. That is actually a huge problem for me, and one of the biggest things why I get in the I can like spend like weeks without people, like just not having anything to do with people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why I like martial arts, because it gets me out of that. Uh, I actually like martial arts because all those problems that you list for the INFPs, it solves. That's that's the big reason. Hearing you talk about INFPs is like those are exactly the problems I've had growing up, and and having that's that's a big reason why I have martial arts, because um, constantly I've always been like had this like uh, shifting perception to what I want to do, and now I had something I could latch onto.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I first joined, or actually I was like so introverted, I was actually scared to talk to like the wrestling coach about joining.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like it, like to me, I think the reason I always like martial arts is because, me and my dad are pretty much the exact same. Like he's I haven't typed him yet, or I haven't like made him take a test, but I'm pretty sure he's an INFP, because of he's, and I think he would like fit more with the stereotypes of an INFP. He's like he plays the guitar. He's all about, he's a musician who uh who lives like it's so fascinating, like to think about other fathers, because like other dads are like so I thought like all dads, like when I was growing up, I thought all dads were like my dad, who's like this really shamanistic, wise, quite thoughtful individual.
Mm-hmm.
um every story he has is like it is deeply deeply spiritual and full of meaning. And I was like completely. I didn't know how lucky I was to have a dad like that growing up. But like seeing how other people were raised, I was like, oh my God, they're so, they're so. I wouldn't say bad, but they weren't like they weren't as spiritual as my father.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's always it's yeah, it always struck me strange that like, oh, I guess other people aren't like us. Yeah.
Another weird thing would be most of the time, parents generally aren't the same type as their children. It's rare. It's rare for that to happen. Tom, what do you think about that?
Well, what I would say is it can happen if they have a lot of kids. Like if you're like his fourth, fifth, or like sixth kid, then yeah, maybe. Like Shelly thinks her daughter's INTJ, and I think her daughter probably is INTJ. I think it does happen, but it's just
Shelly
not
has
common.
6 goddamn kids.
But yeah, Shelly has 6 kids, and she has twins, and one of those girls is the same type as she is. But just to go back to INFP, another thing about INFPs is they consistently worry about like their reputation and people judging them, and sometimes it can be very annoying because it's like you ask them questions and they won't answer the question because it's like they're trying to control the narrative, and they're trying to control the way that you that you view them, and they don't want you to like think negatively of them. And another the thing about INFPs is often they are super sensitive people. They're like, I've heard it described as like they're like a walking nerve. They just feel everything. You're empathetic, you're compassionate. Like I'm sure you pick up on people's feelings, but it's like you're like on the opposite end of the spectrum, compared to an INFP.
Yeah, I have an INFP. Also, she's
what you said is exactly what I is the exact problems I've been dealing with my whole life.
Is worrying about people judging you?
Yeah. How you said people trying to control the narrative. Yeah, that's exactly the problem I always had. And
really,
yeah, that's why I love swimming, because it gets all those thoughts. I just go away. I just focus on the swimming, and so that's why I love. That's why I love.
My buddy, he's ISTP. He likes swimming because it allows him to just do something, and if he's doing something, that means he's not thinking, and his brain naturally, like SE brains naturally think like chess, not chess, tennis. So it naturally wants to do something. But if there's nothing to do, then the brain is just doing this, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing something, then the brain's not doing this because it's responding to the stimuli that it's at. So it's more of an SE brain that you're talking about. You can find that from Dario Nardi's work here, or the Magic Diamond, or even more into the neuroscience of personality. But the tennis brain, like it's ready to hit a ball back and forth, and there's nothing to react to. So the brains usually are going crazy.
So how do you feel about coming on before we started the interview? What were your thoughts about it?
I was feeling a little nervous. Honestly, I did it because Assad recommended it, and I was like, well, I trust Assad.
Mm-hmm. How'd you meet him?
Through the martial arts show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We usually have a hard time getting INFPs actually to go on camera.
Yeah, they don't even go on camera at all.
Yeah.
They won't even go on camera at all. It's and they got a very screechy voice generally. And you can usually look at somebody and tell they're INFP. You just look at them and tell like visually, because like I said, they have SE trickster. So generally they have no concept of reality. So their hair be messed up, or like they'll have like weird clothes on, or like they'll like just be not well put together. You're very groomed, man. Like I'm so sorry, man. Sorry to break it to you, man. You're not an INFP, man. Sorry, man. I mean, another thing about INFPs is they really struggle with active, like what you talked about, critically thinking. It's like none.
Yeah.
Okay, they have none of that. It's very weak. It's in actually the 8th spot. So like their critical thinking is like terrible. Like if we were to have an INFP on here and I was to be like, what do you think about this? They'd be like, like they don't even want to share their opinions of anything. Like, I hate to call Cody out, but if I post something, he'll just read it and it'll just sit there. It'll just sit there, and I'll just be waiting to Thomas reads it, and then he'll share what he thinks. But it's rarely you'll get an INFP to share what they think. It's the craziest thing.
That's actually another problem I have, sir. I have messages left from Assad for like weeks, and from Dave and all my friends that I actually like, really love that. Sometimes I just don't respond for like weeks at a time.
Well, it's not even that. It's just they can't like. It's not about not responding. It's about like they don't want to voice their opinion.
Yeah, they're afraid of voicing their opinion, basically.
Like they're afraid to voice their opinion on anything. So like that's what really, it just sits there because he's terrified to voice his opinion that he could be wrong.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of it is just that they're insecure. Like they're not even sure what they believe a lot of the time. It's like because they outsource their beliefs to other people. It's like, well, this person says this person says that, and it's like they'll use other people in order to help them verify information because they don't know how to verify like things themselves. Mm-hmm. So like you ask them, hey, what do you think about this? And it's like, oh, well, I'm not sure what I think about this, and like I don't want to be wrong because like then you're going to think less of me. So I'm not going to voice my opinion on this. And then after the fact, if I find out that I actually was kind of right, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what I thought, It's like, yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't completely sure, so I didn't want to say so because I didn't want to sound too sure of myself. It's like,
it's like, what the fuck? Just say it, dude. Like what the fuck is wrong? Voice your
they act like they act like the fate of the world hangs in the balance. Like if they voice their opinion and they're wrong, it's like I can't be wrong. I can't be wrong.
Is the word
I've constantly had.
I mean, man. I mean, Hassan can look at it as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Like INFPs are informative, so they give a lot of extra information. They're not direct.
Yeah. You're not giving us any additional information. There's nothing vague about what you're saying. There's nothing wordy. It's just like you're very clear, concise, and to the point. Like I knew immediately. I'm like, okay, this guy's direct. Like it's like, then if you're direct, you can't be INFP. I mean, that's that's 8 types are off the board. Once we determine that.
Yeah. Like
you're also pragmatic. You
also don't like authority.
With authority.
Yeah.
INFPs love authority.
Really?
Yeah, they're affiliative. Matter of fact, they'll become the authority and fuck your life up. That's what they'll fucking do. They'll fucking.
Yeah, my INFP kid is like 100% compliant because she doesn't want to cause any ripples. She's
100% compliant. They're usually pretty compliant people. Yeah.
They don't want to leave home either.
Or they'll wear the same jacket or some shit, bro, for months. Like,
yeah. She does that too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm at the post this for Hassad, man. Yeah, I'm interested to see what his real type is too. Because he thinks he's ENTJ, so we're gonna see what his is one day.
Who Assad?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's. I thought I already saw his. He showed me in the car.
Mhm.
His thing. I think you guys already typed him. He's like
No,
ENTJ.
no, we never typed him. We never typed him.
Oh,
No,
okay.
someone else did.
He did it with Joyce Ming. I ain't gonna talk about nobody else typing. I ain't gonna talk about nobody else typing, but I think we stay relatively consistent with what we say and what we do. That's the reason why we have three
Yeah.
people. We have three people. It ain't just like what Mercer thinks. It's what Mercer, Thomas, and Shelley thinks, and we kind of go back and forth. We'll be like, okay, I'm seeing this, I'm not seeing this, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. Okay, what are we all seeing here? Like, what are we seeing here? 100%. Let's take what we got, eliminate types, and then go from there. That's like how we do it. I'm not pretty sure what other people do. They do like vibe typing, and the vibe typing is the worst because if you have a certain enneagram, they're usually going to say you're a certain type based off your enneagram. And if you don't have that enneagram, then they're going to say you're not that type, So they don't even notice that they do that, but that's what they do. But yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Got any questions, man?
Yeah. What do you guys think my type is? I don't know where we land. ESTP?
ESTP, man. ESTP.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're in our Facebook group, man, do some research and let us know what you think, man. It's always up to you. You're the autonomy of yourself, but we just go for what we see,
Okay.
And
Enneagram.
Do you know his Enneagram?
I always strive to be like an ESTP. I thought that was like always the coolest type.
Well, it kind of is, It's like the stereotype of the cool guy. The stereotype of the cool guy is the ESTP. There's like, I've worked with a few ESTP guys, and it's like it just seems like everybody fucking loves the ESTP guys. That's the fucking cool guy, like the cool guy who's doing something cool with his life. Like, one of them is like one of them does music. One of them like fucking he's like a beach boy, and he does I forget what they call it, but like the shit where you fucking like you light shit on fire and you fucking like you're fucking tossing it in the air and shit. This other dude I work with, it just seems like everybody fucking loves him. And like you, he comes across as very introverted, and it kind of made it difficult. Like I wasn't sure, like is he ISTP or is he ESTP? But ultimately, like if somebody's they keep hitting the outcome, they're going to be ESTP. And I think ESTPs often have this problem, like because they think that they're introverted, but they're actually one of the extroverted types.
They love people. I think they're just one of the types that can kind of go in between.
Yeah.
They're more like, it's like I think it might be FI trickster, man. But like they because FI trickster types tend to be introverted to a degree. Like they think they're introverted. I don't know what it is about FI tricksters, but they generally think
Is that the
Huh?
What letter is that? FI.
Oh, FI trickster is something that you have. It's the 7th spot. So FI trickster is like ESTPs don't really know what they value. They're always kind of searching for identity. They can have identity crisis. That type of thing. As in like someone like Thomas, we kind of pretty much know who we are as people. As an ESTP, they kind of really they can shapeshift, is one would say. They can shapeshift, is what I would say. Especially ENTPs, like they can just shapeshift. They don't really have like let's say for instance, if they start hanging around rock stars, they'll take on a rock star mask,
Yeah.
If they hang around people that are nerdy, they'll take on a nerdy mask. They don't really have identity themselves. Like, regardless if I am hanging out playing Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, I'm still me. And that's never gonna change. So yeah, they have that problem.
They mirror people, basically, like the people who are like most like important to them, like the people that they're around the most. They're gonna kind of like they're gonna mirror like those people's like behaviors and feelings.
and it comes at the risk of their own identity. They tend to be like people pleasers to a degree, you know, and that comes, you know, with identity issues to a degree, because you're trying to please everybody else that you don't really notice about your own self. Yeah. But yeah, man, we got ESTP. If you join our Facebook, I'm not sure if you're in there, but if you join our Facebook group, let us know what you think. I'm gonna post a video, and people in the comments they'll type you as well, and
Okay.
you'll be able to see that as well if they agree or disagree. I know they're gonna be laughing when they say INFP. They're definitely gonna be laughing at that shit.
Actually,
Matter of fact, that's gonna be my thumbnail. I'm INFP. I think I'm an INFP. But I'm jacked and I'm in martial arts. That's gonna be my fucking thumbnail right there. Like I think I'm INFP, but I'm jacked and I'm in martial arts. And
I'm excellent, and I'm a Marine, you know.
And I'm a Marine, and I'm a. That's gonna be my fucking thumbnail right there. Right fucking there. I'm an INFP, but I'm a Marine, martial artist. But I think I'm INFP. Help me find my personality type. That is going to be the thumbnail, right?
And I'm going to jail for assault. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can go, if anything, I'm going to jail for assault. Yeah, fucking get off the drugs, man. But yeah, brother, we gotta go, man. It was a pleasure, man. Hope to see you in the group, man.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
All
for
right,
the.
thank you.
All right, Dwayne Johnson, take it easy, man.
You too.
See you.